1 o'clock on Thursday. I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to do a refresh off to the left to be sure that I'm actually transmitillating. One time I didn't do that, and I was not transmitillating anywhere to anywhere. Alrighty, so here's our card for today. It uses the new Everyday Details bundle. It's very, very pretty set. I've already used the details dies, the Everyday Detail dies on a couple of cards, but this time I went all in with the bundle. You'll see it's got some really pretty sentiments. I've used this one, wishing you so much joy on this special day. Now, for me, this is a card that could be a birthday card, heck, it could be a new baby card for almost anything. It could be graduation, it could be anniversary, it could be all sorts of things. And I also think it's bordering on, I actually think it would be a great masculine card. All right, don't be afraid to put a little bit of ribbon and a little bit of extra pretty stuff on a masculine card. Okay. Hey Marva, hi Carol and Rosie and Renee and Rocky and Brooke and Faith and Sherry and Barbara and Angie. I appreciate you guys all coming. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. Oh, and the paper. You're asking about the paper. You're like, Mary, what is that paper? This is the gorgeous Flight and Airy DSP, which just so happens to be free during Sale-A-Bration. So with a $50 order, before shipping and tax, because that doesn't count, you could pick a whole pack of 12 by 12 beautiful paper in all of these beautiful organic colors. And the thing that's fun about this paper, other than the fact that it's, gorgeous and free, is look at all the different designs in this. Beautiful florals and pretty birds and little birds you can cut out with your skizzers if that's how you roll, which it turns out I am. There's a little bird. These guys are nicely delineated from their background, so that makes them perfect for cutting out and using on your projects. And the soft colors are just stunning. So add in the fact that it's free and it's pretty tough to beat a beautiful pack of paper. It is absolutely Julie Johnson and Mary paper too. So, hey everybody. Hi Patricia and Carol from Pensacola. I appreciate you guys coming. I hope you guys haven't been having weather. We are watching the weather come our way. It's beautiful outside right now. It's a little chilly, but it's gorgeous. So my brain is having a conflict with how it looks outside and what the weather channel is saying. And so we will see what happens. I think I have about 24 hours before the weather gets here. So I need some prayers, guys. The real prayer I would like is it dissipates before it gets here and it becomes a giant non-event. Or two, it really doesn't change its pace and it gets here in the afternoon and not in the night, so that I can actually get done with it and go to sleep, because I don't do well with weather. Tornadoes I just don't do well. I just don't. Okay, let's get started. This will all be on my blog tomorrow. Just so I can give you a little caveat right now. At some point in this video, I am going to call this the Everyday Essentials stamp set. I don't know why, but I just typed the whole blog post for tomorrow with Everyday Essentials. I named all the photos Everyday Essentials, so I had to go back and change it. But I will call it that at some point today. I can almost certainly feel that coming. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I have started out with a piece of the Flight and Airy DSP in pecan pie. Let me put that out of the way so I don't get stuff on it. That I am going to adhere to the front of a pecan pie card base. And this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it covers the whole base. And we're going to use a little bit of liquid glue for that. The rain, well, where are you, Linda? I'm not sure where you are. The rain is south, so they've had tornadoes in Florida and the Alabama, Florida line. So it's coming up from the south. Thank you, Florida, for sending it our way. We appreciate that very much. I know you didn't do it. I'm kidding, of course. So we'll see how that goes. So you're going to want to line this up. And then before you do anything crazy, double check that your edges don't need to be trimmed up. It's very seldom. I mean, I I'm almost never able to get it to completely line up in the first go. Even though it seems like it ought to. Your brain says it ought to work, but it doesn't. So let me just trim that down just a little bit. Hang tight. And we'll be ready to go. Just 1 second go. Okay, there we go. Now it's trimmed. Well, no, it isn't. Goodness. Sorry, guys. This is the thing. It is paper. You have to make it do what you want it to do. So take the time it takes to make it do what you want it to do. Okay, so there's our card front. Now I have a second piece of the Flight and Airy. Oh, you're in Four Corners, New Mexico? Oh, we used to go up there. We used to go kind of in that general vicinity when we were getting hay when we lived in Albuquerque. Okay, so here's another piece of the Flight and Airy. You can see the beautiful, this is Lost Lagoon, and that's probably a gray, but I've interpreted it sort of as soft seafoam. So that's my matte color and some of my ink colors today. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to a smaller soft seafoam matte. And then we're going to do a fun ribbon treatment that I think you're going to like. I mean, I like it. I like it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this Pecan Pie 3/8 inch bordered ribbon. And we're going to wrap it like so around the panel. And we're going to leave these ends open, and then I'm going to tie a knot there with some linen thread. To make that more easy, simpler, easier, I'm going to take a piece of, little bit of Stampin' Seal and put it right in the center of the card front where I'm going to put my ribbon. And then I'm going to adhere it like that. That way it kind of holds it in place and I don't have to fight it quite so hard, right? Because fighting ribbon is not so fun. All right, so we'll wrap this around like so and cut the end. Oh, so you had dust storms in Florida. That's interesting. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the back just because, again, it makes your life easier. Do you have to do this? No. But if you're kind of lazy like I am, I'm always going to try to do stuff that makes things easier on my own self, you know, so that I can spend my brain bucket on fussy cutting. Like that. Okay, so I've got these two little ends rolling out there, and I'm going to take a length of linen thread, and I'm going to run it through my fingertips a few times to straighten it out. Karen, no, you're not. You're just going to be on the receiving end of it. And I'm going to cut this, and I'm cutting it a little longer than you probably need to because I'm doing public bows, and I don't want you to have to sit here for like an hour and a half waiting for me to get my bow right, okay? And I'm just going to tie it around this piece of ribbon. You want to kind of keep it right up against the edge of the cardstock, best as you can, and give it a little squeeze. And then you can fix your bow like that. I want to show you something that's like a little trick. I didn't do that on this one, but I decided I wanted to show you this trick, so I'm undoing it. Okay. Pretend you didn't see that. All right. So I don't know if you guys have heard of a surgeon's knot, but a surgeon's knot is something that at least back in the day when I was in like a long time ago, they took us to a vet clinic to see, because we were interested in being veterinarians. So it was a group of students who went to a vet clinic, and the vet was telling us this was the thing that, you know, that they do for their show and tell. He was showing us how to do a surgeon's knot, and it's a way to tie an overhand knot, a single one, and have it stay snug without having to have an extra finger, because as a surgeon you wouldn't want to have somebody stick their finger in and hold it, right? Okay, so here's how you do it. So here's a regular overhand, which is just one time through. See that? Just go through one time. And then to turn it into a surgeon's knot, go back through one more time. Let me see. I think I maybe screwed that up. So go through one time and then go back through another time like that. Okay, and get it down where you want it. And then when you pull it snug, it stays just like that without having to have another finger. So there you go. See what you learned today? You learned how to make a card and how to tie a special knot. All right, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and tidy that up just a little bit, and then we'll get on with the rest of our card. So you're going to pull that down, tidy, and give it a little snip. Like I said, I used way more linen thread than you need to use, but I don't, you know, public knots, you got to do what you got to do. If you're in private, you can struggle with it as long as you want with a shorter piece. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we'll set that aside. Now, on another piece of very vanilla cardstock, right here. There you go. You don't even need another hand. Exactly. All right. I am going to take the nest image from Everyday Details. I had to stop myself. And I'm going to stamp it on very vanilla in Pecan Pie ink. I gotta say, Pecan Pie ink has become, Pecan Pie in general has become one of my favorite colors ever. Oh, Four Corners, Florida. Oh, see, there's also one in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and Nevada, maybe? Yeah. Okay, so I've got my light Lost Lagoon blending, a Stampin' blend, and I'm just going to color these little leafies. And it's tempting to think when you are coloring tiny images with the blends that you would want to use the bullet end. And in fact, I have found that is not the case. You can get much more delicate with just the very tippy tip of the brush end. So that's what I like to use. If you are really talented with the bullet end of the blend, then go for that. But it does not work for me. I tend to get it all over the place. Okay, so I'm not, these are very tiny images, which means I am absolutely not taking any effort to blend them. I'm just coloring them. Which makes you think, why isn't she using a Stampin' Right marker? I don't know. I could. I think because I used blends for the eggs, and so I thought, well, surely I need to use blends for Colorado. Oh, thank you, Robin. Good Lord. I couldn't remember the fourth one that I hadn't said. Remember, I've been calling this Everyday Essentials. It's one of the, and Rocky Wilkins knows how my day's going. So y'all cut me some slack. Okay, now I'm going to take my soft seafoam, the light blend, and I'm just coloring the eggs kind of all over. One would call this, if you were decorating a cake, you would say you were flooding the field. So I'm just going to flood the field with light, soft seafoam ink. And then I'm going to take the dark and come back and just accentuate the hash marks that the wonderful Stampin' Up! Designers give us to kind of add a little depth. And then I'm going to add some along where those eggs come together and where they hit the nest. And then just a little bit around the edges to give them just the idea that they might have some roundness and not be completely flat. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And that is why I am now officially embarrassed that I did not know the state name. Maybe I thought I'd already said it? Yeah, let's go with that. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay, now before I go to my Stampin', my cutting machine, I'm going to go ahead and do up our sentiment, and then I can cut both things at one time and not bother y'all with having to leave twice. So this is the wishing you so much joy on this special day. Pretty open-ended, right? It could be any kind of card you need it to be, I think. And I'm going to stamp it in soft seafoam, in Pecan Pie ink, and then I am way beyond normal. I am definitely normal. I'm going to take this little image, which actually, if you look at it, it's kind of got a corner to it, but we're going to do it real randomly. It's from Everyday Details, and I'm going to stamp over the top in Soft Seafoam ink. So I'm just giving a little bit of tone-on-tone color to it, and it's going to go outside my die, and I don't care. I want it to. Okay. Now, here's what I'm fixing to cut, okay? So you'll know what I'm doing off camera. The first thing I'm going to do is use the largest of the dies from Everyday Details to cut out the nest, and you're going to see what it does. And then I'm going to use the second from smallest of the Stylish Shape Circle to cut out my sentiment. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I mean, I'm not actually going anywhere, but I'll be right back. Okay. So just lining everything up and giving it a cut here in just a second. All right. There's that. And now we'll do the sentiment in the Stylish Shape Circle. The nice thing about cutting after you stamp is, especially with a circle, you can't get it crooked, right? Really, it's hard to get it crooked because you can do anything you want with the circle. All right, so there's our sentiment. Let's put these away so I don't lose anything. All right, so here's a fun thing. Look what this die does. You get the holes. Let's call them stitch holes. I mean, you really could actually stitch something around there with thread in the part that you cut out from. So this would be good to put into a card front like so. And I actually have done that. So there you go. And then we have the actual piece that we're using, which gets those dots as well. So you can see it cuts out on the edge, and it cuts out on this edge, and then it actually cuts the shape with that center ridge. All right, so let me put that there. See if those are going to knock out. They're not, so I'm going to pop them out like that. All right. And I'm going to just go right ahead, just suck it up, Mary. Now this is the old die brush, okay, but it's the same concept. We have a attachment for the Take Your Pick tool, and you just can use that to roll out those little hanging chads there. Or you can use your little doohickey and poke, 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 whichever one makes you happier. If you like to poke, 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 that's the way to go. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and assemble. Now we're at the assembling point in our process. Yes, I'm going to use dimensionals because, yeah, hello. And we'll pop this on with some dimensionals. I stay on either side of the ribbon just because I don't want it moving around, even though it's kind of secured down. I don't want it to move any. All right, here we go. I love this set. It's so organic. I just really love it. And I love the dies. They're very, very useful. Even if you never pull the stamp set out, the dies are wonderful, but you will use the stamp set, I can assure you, if you should happen to get it. And I do believe Everyday Details is more than $50, which means you can purchase it and select the Flight and Airy DSP at the same time and be ready to rock and roll. Because I know you already have stylish shapes. I know you do, because of course you do. Why wouldn't you? You have to have those. All right, and then we're going to do the same with this, more dimensionals. And on this one, I'm going to stay on the outside edges. That'll be plenty. And it will avoid any interference with the ribbon. Oh, thank you, Karen. You're so sweet. I'll send the check later. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Put it upside down? No, let's not. All right, and then we're just going to center that on the front. Hopefully that's centered. It looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then I'm going to do similar down here. I'm going to use liquid glue over here, and I'll probably slide a dimensional underneath, but I'm not going to do that until after I have put it onto my card front, okay? Just so that I know how far out I need to go. And you can do two things here, and I kind of played around with them. You can go way off the edge like that. Or you can bring it up and get a little closer and kind of stay inside the confines of your card front. So it's kind of up to you. I chose that version right there, but you can do whichever one. I think either one of them would look awesome. I actually kind of think it's hard to screw this up. Now I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals under here just to support that circle a little bit, and I'm going to slide them under with my tweezers. So just take your little half. See, the halves are the best, man, because you can do anything with them. There we go. Okay, now one of my favorite new embellishments, tell me it's the same for you, okay? Tell me it's the same. The adhesive back cork rounds are just, I have got dimensional covers like everywhere, are just like the best. I love them so much. So I'm going to put some of those on. And they come in two sizes, so I'm going to use them all the sizes. I'm using all the sizes. Just going to put some like this. Remember, you want to, you know, decorate with odd numbers. And we'll put one, I think, right there. There we go. And there's our card front. So cute. The inside is stupid easy. Okay, are you ready? I hope you're sitting down because I don't know. It's very difficult. I know, that was wrong. I said those two things wrong. I should have said the very difficult part first before I confessed that it was stupid easy. So I've got this little spots image, and in this corner and this corner, I'm stamping them in soft seafoam, and that is all I'm doing in there. But while I have this out, why don't I go ahead and stamp just once in the corner of my very vanilla envelope in the left bottom corner. There we go. That's all we're doing. Remember, when I say no naked envelopes, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be something that identifies this envelope with that card, in Mary's opinion. And you don't have to do it at all. Really, you don't even have to do it at all. Unless you're me, and then you kind of have to do it. You feel like you need to do it. All right. So we're going to mat this on soft seafoam. Does that look right? Yeah, it does. Okay. We'll mat it on soft seafoam. Love this card. And I wanted to use that striped ribbon for a long time, and for some reason I just hadn't gotten it together to do it. So now I have. There we go. And then we're going to adhere it to the inside of the card base, which the card front is already done, so we're good to go. Like so. Oh, so pretty. I think I'll give that a little little more trimmy trim right there. All right, and there is our card front. And the front of our envelope is already done, so we're going to put some of the DSP from Flight and Airy on the envelope flap. You could use the other one. You could use this one, but, and this is my thought process, you know, whatever. You could be like, yeah, right, Mary, whatever. Because this is soft seafoam and quiet, I went with the pecan pie piece, but you could use either one of them if you wanted to. And the coolest thing about this is you could actually use completely different. You could use one of the more flowery papers back here behind the nest and it would still be beautiful. All right, that pecan pie base is the perfect starting point for almost any of the DSPs in the pack. All right, and then you know what makes a fussy cut easier is if you can find your snips. There we go. All right, now with your snips in hand, it does become the world's easiest fussy cut. There we go. Take it as your time to practice your skills. Use your paper holding hand to turn the paper and keep your scissors straight. And there we have our envelope. Oh, good. Thanks. I'm glad you figured it out, Cindy. Alrighty, so there you go, guys. A very, very nice masculine card that also obviously is good for anybody and good for almost any occasion, really. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope I'll see you on Saturday too. All right, everybody have a good one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.